If you get stung by a jellyfish, should you pee on it? The short answer is no. Please do not do that. And in some situations, peeing on the sting will make it worse. So if you have been stung by a jellyfish, here's what you need to do. First, if you do have the tentacle still attached to your skin, you're going to want to remove that with some tweezers. Do not use your bare hands, as they'll probably get stung as well, which just makes the whole situation a lot worse. Next, you want to rinse the area with seawater. Doing this will stop more venom being released into your body, making the sting less painful. But make sure you're not using fresh water. Fresh water will have the opposite effect and cause more venom to be released. So seawater, not fresh water. Next, you want to apply heat. Soaking the area in hot water, as hot as you can tolerate, is going to help this as well. So having something like a hot shower, or using a hot towel and compressing that onto the area that's been stung will help the situation out. And finally, take some painkillers. If you have them on hand, this will help out. Follow the dosage on the packaging. So in extreme cases, which I'll put all the reasons for what that could be on screen now, so things like problems with your breathing, there's swelling, there's bleeding, you're feeling nauseous, you have body aches, having allergic reactions, you get the idea. This is when you want to call emergency medical services, as you're going to need some expert help on this one. So let's go over some do nots right now. We've already gone over a few, so look, do not pee on it, do not touch any stingers with your bare hands, do not apply fresh water onto the sting, but also do not apply vinegar onto the sting. This is one of those misconceptions where people tell you to use vinegar on the wound. This does help for some jellyfish, but not all jellyfish. So unless you're a jellyfish expert, which I'm kind of guessing you're not if you're watching this video right now, do not use vinegar. You're kind of rolling the dice on if it will work or not, and in some cases it will make it worse. So better to not use it. Also, do not apply ice or cooling pack to it. As I previously explained, heat is good for the sting, but adding a cooling effect will make it worse. And finally, do not cover or close the wound. You're going to want it to be nice and aerated. Now, you might be asking yourself, why am I trusting this guy on the internet? Who is he? How does he know these things? Should I trust this source? Great attitude if that is you, by the way. So let's clear this all up right now. Hi, my name's Tom, and I'm a scuba diving professional, which means I spent a lot of time in the water and met my fair share of jellyfish and learned how to treat stings that way. But that does not make me a medical expert. I am not a surgeon! So for the purpose of this video and all the factual content within it, I am quoting medical sources and scientific sources to make sure it's nice and accurate and not going to be misleading for you. The purpose of this video is basically putting all these kind of sources I found online along with my experience, and that way then you can have it in one nice neat package for you to consume. Also, whenever I am mentioning or referencing a source, I will put it in the bottom corner which source I'm referencing. That way you know where it's coming from, the information, and I will have links in the description if you want to check out the sources yourself. Now that that's out of the way though, let's jump back to the video. So what actually does happen if you pee on a jellyfish sting in scientific terms? Well, let's break it down. Urine contains something called urea, and in theory, urea can actually make the pneumocysts, that's the part that releases the venom from the stinger, actually rinse it away from your body without it stimulating it, which sounds great. The only problem is, in practical sense, if the person is pretty much hydrated sufficiently, it's going to be too dilute for it actually to have effect. It's going to act more like fresh water, which we already talked about being worse and causing more venom to be released. So unless the person's super dehydrated, urine's not going to have much of an effect and will probably make it worse. There's also plenty of studies that have tried to look at stuff like this, and no, none of them actually support the idea of urine being an effective way to stop a sting from being painful. So it's one of the rumours which just got spread around, and in my opinion, I think the reason it's so widespread, this rumour is now, or myth, sorry, is so widespread is because of television, from two main sources. The first one being the television show Friends. So in season 4, episode 1, the episode called The One with the Jellyfish, which aired back on the 25th of September 1997. Does anyone feel old right now because of that? Monica gets stung by jellyfish, and Joey tells her that you need to pee on it because this is what he heard when he watched the Discovery Channel. Channel also jumps in with support of this, saying that he heard that ammonia helps kill the pain. And this is just completely not true, by the way. It's a classic example of people misquoting things or making up something entirely fictional. If you spent any time on the internet and seen Sun Tzu quotes or Albert Einstein quotes, you get the idea. Same sort of thing happened there. Also, you've got to remember this is a television show, which is a sitcom. Its purpose is to entertain, not inform. So do not get your factual information or things learning from a show like this. It's not there for that, it's there to entertain. The other show I want to mention is The Running Wild with Bear Grylls. In particular, season 3, episode 6, which aired back on the 7th of September 2016, featuring Mel B. In the episode, Bear gets his hand stung by a jellyfish, and Mel B offers to pee on his hand, and she does do so to help relieve the pain of the jellyfish sting. And he does say it helped relieve it. Later on, he has mentioned though in an interview after the show that he did play it for the cameras, which just shows again a classic example of, for television, it's there for entertainment, not for factual content typically. I will say though it does get a bit confusing with cases like Bear Grylls, because he does give some practical survival tips in the show. So some people, after seeing a few good tips on there, then just blindly follow him going, oh yeah, this guy gives good information, and then stop scrutinising any of the statements he makes, which isn't a good idea. You should always question everything, question statement being made, and that way then you don't get blindly just follow along with a lie.
Beck, you lied to me, and I trusted you.
I know. That's the most disappointing part.
Anyway, that's the end of the history lesson about urination and jellyfish stings, which sounds really weird to say out loud. I just want to cover quickly now all the types of jellyfish you can encounter in the ocean, along with things that can sting you in the ocean. That way then you're better equipped to know when you should be avoiding things in the ocean, if you should be getting out of the water entirely if you spot one of these things, just so you can stay safe in the ocean. So the first one I just want to cover is the moon jellyfish. This is like one of the most common types of jellyfish you can find in the ocean. They're the small ones, which are like blue and pretty transparent. You find them all over the world. And things can sting you, but it'll only mildly irritate you. Because of that, you can just use the treatment I told you at the start of the video, and that'll sufficiently help you out with this one. Next is sea urchins. Again, these are the spiky things, picture on screen right now. If you're unfortunate enough to step on one of these guys, it's very painful, and I'm going to tell you now how to treat it because they're not fun. So you can either soak it in hot water, saline, or vinegar. Yes, you can use vinegar for this. You also want to remove the spike with some tweezers if possible. Make sure you're removing it from the way it entered your body. Don't accidentally push it deeper in, or that's going to make it just a lot more painful. And do not use a needle instead of tweezers. Try and fish it out. That usually just makes the whole wound worse. And if you cannot get the wound out yourself, you can seek medical help on this one. Just call a local ambulance or whatnot and get some medical experts to help you out with it. Also, you probably want to keep an eye on this wound even after treating it. These are very prone to get infected, and if they do get infected, you're going to want to go to the doctor to get some antibiotics. Next on the list is fire coral. I know, still not jellyfish, but this is another very common one, especially for anyone who goes under the water, so like divers like myself. If you've got bad buoyancy control, you bump into some corals, and this stuff is very painful and will cause a burning sensation. So these have a look like this. They are yellow, sometimes green, sometimes brownish. They're found in tropical and subtropical waters, basically all the good places to go diving, unfortunately. And to treat this, you're going to want to apply white vinegar to where it's burning you. It can also cause redness on the skin and blistering, and if it does blister, do not pop the blisters, even though it's very tempting to, because that'll slow down the recovery time. Also, on a sense of how to make it as fast recovery as possible, you want to keep the area dry, clean and aerated. If the wound is open, by the way, and looking pretty nasty, you might need to go to a doctor to get extra medical treatment for this one, because sometimes antibiotics are needed and even sometimes tetanus boosters. Next up is Portuguese man o' war, and before you make the mistake, this actually is not a jellyfish. This is actually this thing. Yeah, I'm not going to try and say that name. And these guys are really distinctive because they float on top of the surface and they look like a Portuguese warship from the shape of them. They also have very strong colours, being either blues, purples or pinks, so they are quite easy to spot in the water too. Now these ones do have a very intense sting to them, and in very rare situations, I want to stress that very rare, they can be deadly. So these are one of the ones you want to get out of the water. And do not apply vinegar, as pretty much every single source I found online says vinegar sting will make the sting worse and more painful. There was one I found on SOWest which says otherwise, and I'll again link it down that in the description, so if you want to read that to have another point of view on the argument. But personally, I never like to roll the dice with treatments. I'd rather just do something which I know is going to work rather than just kind of gamble it. Next up is the box jellyfish. This is native to Northern Australia and Indo-Pacific regions. They have a blue transparent body like the moon jellyfish, except that they are box shaped for the head and they have long tentacles. These things get to 10 feet long, so they're quite easy to spot because they're so big. Now these are another one with very intense sting pain, and very rare situations they can be deadly to you. So they are get out of the water situation, but if you get stung by them, obviously do the treatment I told you at first, but also you want to probably just call medical experts straight away, as in some situations they can administer an anti-venom if they deem it necessary. And the final jellyfish I want to mention to you is the lion mane jellyfish. Yeah, it looks very, very distinctive. It's another big one that gets to 6.5 feet long.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
And it has loads of tentacles, 1,200 in fact. I feel really bad for the guy who counted all of them. And because of all these tentacles, it looks a bit like a mane, which is how it got its name. Again, another painful sting to it, and in very rare situations, if you're allergic to jellyfish, it can be deadly to you. So another get out of the water situation. Thankfully, very distinctive, very easy to spot, but not one you want to be messing around with in the water. And that is it for my jellyfish video. I hope this has helped inform you and helped you understand it better. If it has, please give it a like, it helps me out a lot, but also help other people find this information more easily as well online. And if you're someone who just likes jellyfish in general and wants to learn some stuff about it, I hope this has helped too. And I've also got some jellyfish merch for people like that. Yeah, I'm gonna just give a shameless plug, because why not? Anyway, I've been Tom guys. Hope you guys stay safe in the ocean, and yeah, bye bye.